biggest game of the week, we have number 24 Michigan going up against number 22 Illinois. This is a much heavier matchup than we anticipated at the beginning of the season. Both of these teams still with hopes, maybe slight hopes, of competing for a Big Ten title. However, there is no room for error. And the Wolverines now turning to their third starting quarterback of the season. Let's welcome in Gary Danielson, who's going to be on the call for the Big Ten on CBS. We're actually going to start with the Fighting Illini in a better position than the Wolverines, sitting at 5-1 right now. But Gary, getting a win over a ranked Michigan team, what would it mean for Illinois?
Yeah, especially Michigan. I mean, for Illinois, I mean, we're there for the 100th anniversary of the Illini-Michigan game that kicked off the stadium. There's so much tradition with Illinois and Michigan. I know back years ago when I was doing games in the Big Ten, you know, the Illinois-Michigan game was so big. And you're right. Illinois has a good football team, and they're battle-tested. They traveled to Nebraska. They traveled to Penn State. Brett Bielema's done a good job. They're tough. They're rough. But, you know, this is a desperate Michigan team. You mentioned it, 3 different quarterbacks, just not even a year since they won the national championship. So, yeah, this feels like both sides is thinking, got to have this game. And if you look forward for Illinois, yeah, they played 2 tough games, but they still have to play next week at Oregon. So this loss and that, you know, maybe a loss at Oregon, that would make it tough for this Illini team to get into the playoffs. And that's still what everyone's thinking still at this point of the season. And the way, you know, I just got done watching the Penn State game. They moved the ball in Penn State. It was a good football game. Penn State overpowered them at the end. And I think that's what Michigan will try to do. Will they try to be more physical to this Brett Bielema team? And that does not go well for an ex-defensive lineman in the Big Ten that came from Iowa if his team gets out physical. So it should be a lot of fun to watch the game.
Well, as you mentioned, that is the hope for both of these teams, is still the playoff, but not a lot of room for error. When it comes to Michigan, the third starting quarterback, so you've gone from Davis Warren to Alex Orji. Now you get Jack Tuttle here. They do call him Uncle Jack Tuttle for a reason, because he's in his 7th year. So what sort of confidence does he bring on and off the field to this Michigan offense?
Yeah, in my 7th year out of high school, I already had 4 jobs after I left Purdue. So this is a little bit different for sure. I think what Michigan has found out is they cannot be one-dimensional. And Davis Warren, and on top of that, they have to protect the ball. So Davis Warren and Alex Orji both did things well, but Davis turned it over too much, and Alex did not bring enough of a passing attack. You're looking at it right there, 130th in passing. And against any competent defense, if you're not going to be able to open it up a little bit to protect, either you're a good running team, you need the pass, or you're a good passing team, you need the run. The key to Michigan last year was with JJ, you know, at quarterback, they were able to do both. So Jack Tuttle has to use his experience and bring another dimension to this Michigan team. And talking about their schedule too, all the stakes are huge because they still have to play Oregon at home, travel to IU, a surprising team, and then of course the Buckeyes at the end. So, you know, this game for both teams is almost a must-win.
Let's hop over to the SEC because all eyes are going to be on Georgia coming in at number 5, going up against the number 1 ranked Longhorns. This game going down in Austin. You know their fans are going to be absolutely insane. But it feels, though, Gary, with the game coming off against Alabama, and you already got that loss for Georgia, that more pressure's on the Bulldogs going into this, and that they're underdogs, and it's going to be a tall task.
Yeah, 100%. The more pressure's on Georgia. And, you know, Kirby Smart has built this program where they're expected to contend for the national championship. But just think of it, as we pause for Texas for just a second, they still have to play Florida, a rival, at Ole Miss, Tennessee, still a good team, and then finish up with Georgia Tech, another rival. And they've already shown they're vulnerable. You know, I mean, Kentucky played them pretty well in that football game, even South Carolina. The difference of this team is they can't run the ball. They're 92nd in the country in rushing, this team. So I think if they can't run the ball, that'll put just too much pressure on their passing game. And the way Texas can throw the ball, that'll be tough for Georgia. But don't underrate this Georgia team. They're battle-tested.
First time these two teams have met since the 50s. The first time Georgia has been an underdog since 2021. We can't wait for that one. Sticking in the SEC, number 7 Alabama going up against number 11 Tennessee. Both of these teams, though, Gary, are kind of limping into this game. What are you watching for here?
Yeah, and I think both fan bases are shocked with this. I mean, Alabama is not playing great defense, and Tennessee is not playing great offense. And nobody would have predicted that going into the season this year. Everybody thought that the transition and what Josh Heupel has done in the passing game, that it would be just kind of move on just normally. As Nico came in and played quarterback, they would just transition, but they have not been getting the big plays this year. Dylan Sampson came through for them running the ball last week. I think this game goes down to one thing. Can this Alabama team unleash Jalen Milroe? That's the key. They save him sometimes kind of for big games. Well, this is a big game, and I think if Jalen Milroe does not bring that running game to this attack, I don't know if Alabama's going to have enough. And believe me, playing this game in Tennessee, they love to beat Alabama, and that crowd will be all involved in this one. So Dylan Sampson, the running game for Tennessee, and Jalen Milroe, the running game for Alabama. I think that's the key to the football game.
One more thing, Gary, I want to talk to you about. We're going to step outside the SEC, go to some of the service academies here. You have Army and Navy. And normally we watch these teams because we're excited about the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. We're excited about Army-Navy at the end of the season. Both of these teams after this weekend could potentially be 7-0. These are two teams we need to be watching for the college football playoff.
Absolutely. I mean, they both play Notre Dame ahead of them. But what looked like layups for Notre Dame are no longer layups. Both teams were a little bit nervous about the new rules, not being able to block below the waist downfield. They both tweaked their offenses a bit. And for Coach Monken and Coach Newberry, it has worked. They've gotten quarterbacks now. How about this? Navy's got a quarterback, Blake Horvath, from Ohio. That was the kind of where football started. Rough, tough guy. And for the Army team, they got Bryson Daly. I mean, two tough guys. Daly's from Texas. They're both kind of in the Josh Allen style. Two rough, tough guys that can throw the game. Everyone is excited about both Army and Navy. We watch at CBS kind of from afar getting ready for these teams, but both of them have opened up their offenses. It's just not a wishbone, run the fullback team. Both teams can throw it, running, put points on the board. Both academies are excited about their football, and who knows, as you say, they get there undefeated, they could make a run for the playoffs.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Gary, we appreciate it. I know you're getting over the jet lag, having to be in California for the better part of a week, so we're glad you're back at home before you hop on a plane coming up tomorrow afternoon as well. Gary Danielson going to be on the call with Brad and Jenny. Michigan at Illinois. The Fighting Illini looking for a staple win, sitting at 5-1 right now. Can they take down the Wolverines?